What is up, everyone? In front of me is the entire set from the new Hot Wheels car culture release, Exotic Envy. Well, when I say the whole set, not quite. It's sort of, right? Not all of them are the same ones from this release, and not all of them are even Hot Wheels made. I'm gonna explain myself a little bit. I didn't get the full set, obviously, because first of all, I'm not interested in all of these cars, and when I'm interested in those cars, I'm not really most interested in the Hot Wheels release. I've said this before, but for me personally, Hot Wheels has always been kind of a budget brand. It's a game of alternatives. Even though it is my largest collection, I have more Hot Wheels than any other brand, and probably multiple brands added together. Maybe all other brands added together, but I wouldn't go that far probably. But it's very possible. But rarely is Hot Wheels, in my opinion, the best 164/3-inch maker of a specific car. But the problem is, first of all, they're cheap, right? They're ubiquitous. If you think about model cars, toy cars in this scale, first of all, you think Hot Wheels. For most of the world, maybe some other parts of the world, if it's Lincoln, if you're in Britain, it's not coming home. But if you think about toy cars, it might be Matchbox. If you're in Japan, maybe Tomica. But overall, I would say globally, Hot Wheels more often than not. They're ubiquitous. They make so many different car models, and a lot of them other companies don't make. And a lot of the cars, even though other companies might make, they're so much more expensive that Hot Wheels end up being the best value for money anyway. And I think two of them are the same, are true in this case. For this entire set, I'm going to go through them one by one, and even though I don't have the Huracán from this release, I don't have a Hot Wheels Bugatti. Well, I had one, but I gave it away. I'm pretty sure I don't have a Hot Wheels Senna anymore. I'm going to talk about all of these releases. I'm going to show pictures and why I did not get them. For a lot of people, the two Aston Martins are actually the least interesting ones in this set. For me, they are the most interesting. So this video is going to be two parts. First of all, I'm going to talk about the Exotic Envy set, as well as kind of an overview of my Aston Martin collection. So these are going to leave to the end why I actually think they are more interesting. But I'm going to start with the probably the more quote-unquote accessible supercar, the most accessible exotic car in this set, and that's obviously the Lamborghini Huracán. So the I'm going to show the picture right now. In this set specifically, it is in a really shiny metallic green coating. It looks really cool, very exotic like, right? If you think about Lamborghini, it's not going to be in this kind of gunmetal gray for the unlikely, right? Well, it could be, right? Maybe a matte black, silver, gray, this kind of dark gray, but a Lamborghini, a lot of the people that buy these kind of cars, exotic cars in general, want something a bit more flashy. But I already have this one from the movie Doctor Strange, even though I haven't seen the movie. Obviously, this is a great, very stock-looking Lamborghini Huracan. Very nicely done. I paid probably about $10 for this, if not, well, I think less than 10, around 10 maybe, that much. But that's the kind of the question, right? Is it worth $10 when there are other brands around? And considering this is a premium product, I'm not going to bring up like a regular Tomica, although regular Tomica is sold for around the same price, have around the same amount of details, but obviously, as far as wheels are concerned, the Hot Wheels ones are massively better than a regular red and white box Tomica release. But I do have two more cars that I want to show. But for one thing, as far as the Hot Wheels release is concerned, I have this one. I don't really need a green one, and it's in the secondary in the online market, because you don't really find these in stores in China. This is actually one of the more expensive ones. It's being sold for around, I would say, $12 to $15, which is quite a bit of money. Obviously, these things are sold for $5.49 in the United States, which is fair. If I see it for that price in a Walmart or a Target, I would definitely get it, but not at this price. But yeah, really well done. Pretty much true 1/64 scale, which is awesome. Obviously the proportions are a little bit messed, well, not messed up, right? A little bit altered, as Hot Wheels constantly are. But overall, a great release. But as far as alternatives are concerned, there are two. Like I said, you also have Tomica, basic Tomicas, right? But that one doesn't really count. But first of all, I think the most interesting one, well, the closest one, right, I think is this Shuko. Shuko, it's pretty in China will be pretty sold for pretty much the same price as the green Hot Wheels from this set, around like 80-ish CNY. But this one obviously is a lot more detailed. It's true on 64, but the panel gaps, like the lines, are not as sharp as the Hot Wheels. But it's true on 64. It has mirrors, although they're not, you know, the best quality, but they're there. True on 64. Again, really nicely detailed. You can see the engine in the back. The back lights are painted, but the front lights are lens as opposed to the painted ones on the Hot Wheels. Really nice rims. It's still metal body, metal chassis, so it weighs very nicely, although I think the Hot Wheels is slightly heavier, but not by much. And it rolls also perfectly. So this is very much comparable to the Hot Wheels version, and so, like I said, for the same price, very similar. Also for the same price is the similar is the Mini GT version of the car, although that is the Huracán Evo, so it's not the exact same model. But again, this one's actually a little bit more detailed than the even than the Shuko version. Really awesome rims on this one. You can see elastic mirrors, so it's a little bit more detailed than the Shuko on that end as well. Again, for a similar price. Again, you can see inner details. Again, a little bit more detailed than the Shuko. The rear lights are also a bit lens, although you can see the painting on this one is not perfectly aligned, but it's very small issue. You can see the Huracán Evo as well as the Italian Tricolore. So yeah, and all of these are pretty much sold for the same price as the Hot Wheels. So like if you're not someone who is super excited about the Hot Wheels brand, I don't really see why you would go with the Hot Wheels over these two for a similar price. Although obviously in the United States, these two cars are twice as expensive as the Hot Wheels. But where I am right now, they're more or less the same price. Very similar story for the McLaren Senna as well. And although this one only has two actual alternatives, the one that Hot Wheels releases in white, which is a cool color, but if you think about McLaren Senna, usually it's orange, right, in the most distinctive McLaren color, or in kind of a dark blue. Again, the Hot Wheels one looks really nice, but again, first of all, it's although the McLaren, I think in China being sold online is actually the cheapest of the set, so this one is actually quite a bit more expensive than Hot Wheels. If you like the Senna, the Hot Wheels is actually a pretty good deal. But this one actually has lensed headlights. Unlike almost every Mini GT release, this one actually has metal mirrors. It's actually part of the body itself. The backlights are not lens, which is kind of a shame. You don't really see anything, a suggestion of lights at all. No painting or anything. The exhaust, really nice. It's much more detailed than the Hot Wheels. And you can see the mirrors are actually painted as well. So yeah, I already have this one. Actually, I already also have a dark blue McLaren Senna as well for Mini GT, so this one doesn't really do anything for me. And on the other hand, you also have, I'm going to put a picture of it right here, Atomica Premium McLaren Senna, which I think also has lens headlights. So compared to these two are definitely superior to the Hot Wheels release, even if it's premium. So I think these two, if you have either of these, you don't really need a premium Hot Wheels Senna, unless you really love the Senna. I think very few people are. Actually, a lot of people hate the way it looks. I actually like it. It's very, I think, function over form. It gives you kind of the raw look of almost like a Formula One car or a kind of a racing prototype, right? A Le Mans prototype. So it's very raw. It's not very overly styled. And it's very different from McLaren. Like my biggest complaint for McLaren is ever since the P1, all of their cars kind of look the same. Especially the vast majority of them have numbers as the names. It's really hard to tell them apart. So I do love how the Senna deviates from that formula. I do wish Mini GT can make a few more McLarens. The F1 would be nice. Although Atomica Premium, from all the leaks, they are doing a standard McLaren F1, which I'm super hyped about it. So yeah, this will be the alternative for the McLaren. And currently, the most expensive car in the set being sold in the Chinese secondary market is, obviously, I would assume this is very similar in the United States as well, but it is the Bugatti Bugatti Chiron, right? It's not the not the Veyron, which is obviously even more hyped about, but it's still a pretty cool car. And this one might not be accessible for everyone, especially international fans who are not in China. The JKM version of it. Again, Chiron 64 has a bit of a suspension, not much, but it's there. Well, supposedly, I can't really tell, honestly. I guess it's there, right? Chiron 64 lens headlights and backlights. Very much detailed, very sharp looking. So yeah, and this one is actually being sold for roughly the MSRP in the United States. If you find something, if you find it in stores, it's like $550, right? And the JKM is pretty much the exact same price, so it actually has a competitive advantage. I've actually asked around, and one of the people I've talked to said that JKM has Bugatti and Subaru licenses, but I just don't see anything that might back it up on the car itself, for example, so I don't really buy it. It's just something I've heard, so it might not even be a illegitimate company, but I will reserve I still have my questions. Another one, it's going to be a little bit more inaccessible, a little bit more expensive, but still I would say superior to the Hot Wheels version is this Granny and Partners version from the exclusive to Taiwan 7-Eleven stores. I'm going to do a full comparison video between these two releases. Each has their advantages. For instance, like the wheels, I think on this one is quite a bit better. Whoopsie. Both of them have lens headlights, but the only the JKM version has lens backlights. But on the other hand, if you can see, the Chiron printing on the JKM is also a little bit sharper, but only the Granny and Partners ones has any exhaust details. They're very, very comparable. They're very different. All of them have advantages the other don't have. But one other thing that the Granny and Partner version offers is the removable back hatch that actually shows you the magnificent Bugatti engine, which is really cool. And again, both of them are, it's hard to tell a favorite from between these two. I'm pretty sure they're both superior than the Hot Wheels version, so that's why I didn't pick up the Hot Wheels one, even though if I see it again for $549 in a Target, I will buy it, but not at this price and not when I already have two very great looking Bugatti Chiron models. So that leaves the two cars that I actually bought from this set. Two Aston Martins, two very, very different looking Aston Martins. I really wish they can release a kind of a DB9, a DBS, DB11, that kind of stuff, a bit more normal, right? But these two are very, very much exotic. And I got the McLaren. I got the Aston Martin Vulcan because I always think it's such a gorgeous car. I saw a YouTube comment on the Grand Tour YouTube channel a couple days ago, and it says the Aston Martin Vulcan is the best looking, most pointless car ever made, and it's very, very accurate because this is a track only car. Excuse me, choked a little. And although you can find a company that will tune it and make it road legal, but you're never gonna see one of those on the roads. But it's so pretty. I love the line so much. It's very different from a normal Aston Martin, although it still has kind of the same grille. It's so pretty, and Hot Wheels replicate this really well. I like the top. I think this is supposed to be carbon fiber. I'm not really sure, but it also kind of looks like a carbon, like a fabric top, which shouldn't be the case, right? The rear wing is in plastic, so you can give it a little bit more detail, a little bit more finesse than metal, although I know a lot of people don't like plastic wings. One thing I do not like about plastic wings is that they easily bend if you put it in storage or transportation or whatever. The rims are nice, got a metal base. Mine has a bit of black paint missing from right here, you can tell, not a huge deal. And a bit of an orange missing from here. But yeah, I think the Aston Martin Vulcan is just so pretty, which is why I got it. And again, like I said, Hot Wheels for me is a game of alternatives, right? No other company is making the Aston Martin Vulcan in this scale. So yeah, obviously there is no alternative for this. And the same goes to the Aston Martin Valhalla concept, which is an interesting one because The Valhalla is a kind of a toned down version of the Aston Martin Valkyrie, which is used to be a project that was done between an Aston Martin and Rebel Racing. Head designer Adrian Newey, which is why I took a fancy to this car, because Adrian Newey is obviously a hugely successful, hugely influential F1 car designer, and I do love the Formula One, so I wanted this to have this. Although I think it's weird, right? Why not make the Valkyrie? Because this is kind of a toned down version. Because yeah, this one is so much more practical for day-to-day living. It has gold wing doors, which is really cool. One thing I don't like, and I think a lot of people have mentioned, is look at the ride height. Right? For instance, if I put a box to illustrate a little bit better, look how much negative space is there. This doesn't really feel like a super car, like a Formula One car for the roads, right? This looks like a normal everyday sedan. A little too high as far as the car is concerned, but look at those rear diffusers. So that's impressive. So I was wondering why they're doing the Valhalla instead of the Valkyrie, and I'm thinking maybe this is a car that's going to be in the new James Bond movie, right? Like No Time to Die or whatever. So they've already made the casting, hoping to release it entertainment in like a more prominent color. Usually for the movie, I would say silver, right? Silver, gray, or since after Lawrence Stroll took over Aston Martin, more or less, they've been aggressively going for the British Racing green, right? Originally, a lot of the Aston Martin Valkyrie promotions have been done in the kind of a Rebel red. Afterwards, it's always been done in the British Racing green that the current Aston Martin Formula One team, previously known as Force India, Racing Point for a little bit, are using. So yeah, this one is such a bit of a weird color, not the greatest execution, but because of the Formula One connections, and mostly because there's no other company making it, I decided to pick it up. And because, like I said, these two cars, for very much understandable reasons, are the least favorites of this batch, I was able to get them pretty cheap. Now I'm going to show you kind of my premium Aston Martin collection. Well, my whole Aston Martin collection. I don't think I have any basic Aston Martins anyway. So I'm going to go a little bit time based on the era these cars are made. So this is a Aston Martin DBR1, which with which Carroll Shelby won the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Followed by the famous, if you think Aston Martin, most people would know it for this car. You already know what it is, right? Even though I'm still fumbling. That is obviously the Aston Martin DB5. Next one, and this one is made by Johnny Lightning. I have the Aston Martin DB5 by Hot Wheels from the Fast Euro set from Fast and the Furious, right? Premium. But I actually kind of sold that one to a fellow collector and a friend. I just think this Johnny Lightning version is a little bit better, and this one is also from the James Bond series. Next one I really love is the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Very much kind of copies the look of the first generation Mustang. It looks just gorgeous in this kind of metal flake dark gray / black. It's just incredible looking. I think, in my personal opinion, I think for the most part, Johnny Lightning is much more superior to Hot Wheels in all areas except for rolling, but this one actually rolls pretty well. This one rolls pretty well as well, but not all the cases. Next up, we're going kind of a bit more modern. I don't have a lot of Aston Martins. I would love to get the Hot Wheels Aston Martin DBR9 or the DB9 or the DBS or the DB11 in premium, but those are actually getting a little pricey as well. This one's the Aston Martin 177 from Hot Wheels ID. Not a great looking car in my opinion. In die-cast form, the real car looks better than this. I don't love it either, but it's better than this in my personal opinion. But I got it for cheap, right? So it's there. And adding to that queue would be the Aston Martin Vulcan first, and now the Valhalla, which the base, by the way, the base doesn't say it is doesn't say anything about concept, although in the set the card does say it is Aston Martin Valhalla concept. Oh, actually I do have a couple of basic Aston Martins. I forgot I do have two Vulcans, which I think I'm gonna need to get rid of one of them just because I don't like, more than anything else, space. One of them being the the white one with kind of a red trim. That's the one you see in the Grand Tour show, and the other one being the Hot Wheels Red Edition, so it's all in red. I'm gonna put some pictures here, I'm sure, to show you basically what it is. And I'm thinking about keeping the red edition because it's kind of special, and I'm gonna get rid of the white one, but get rid of them, probably gonna donate it. But both of them are in the United States right now with a friend, so I wouldn't be able to head to do so anytime soon. But yeah, so one set of cars, two different purposes. This is the Exotic Envy set, the part I got at least. Excuse me. But yeah, I completely understand why the most popular cars are going to be the, well, for one thing, the Bugatti Chiron, just because how rare it is to see a Bugatti in die-cast, and the Lamborghini Huracán, just because, you know, it's Lamborghini, a little bit more ubiquitous cars instead of like a track-only car that you will never see with your real lives and with your real eyes in real life, and a concept version of a hypercar that if anyone buys it, you're not going to see them. They're going to sit in the garage for the rest of their lives, as well as a very similar to McLaren Senna, which you will never going to see one in your real life, and it's too niche, right? So but this is kind of also explaining my views on this exotic set, as well as my view in terms of Hot Wheels and premium Hot Wheels specifically. So, and on the other hand, obviously, I showed you all of these premium Aston Martins I own, which is really cool. By the way, this is by Hot Wheels ID, Johnny Lightning, and this one is Shelby Collectibles. I made a video on this earlier. I'm gonna link it probably somewhere here in the cards, so you can show it. It's a wonderful little die cast. It's one of my favorites for sure. And I do love racing, so this one won the Le Mans, which is definitely a plus. So really long-winded video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I'm not going to put a clickbait title to make you think I got the entire set. I probably wouldn't. Yeah, I hope you really enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you again later. Bye.